Hey guys, Tenley10 here, or Neil, however the hell you know me. You're probably wondering what this video is. Well, it's a video that consists of 3 original episodes I made back in high school for my photography exams. That probably been like 2015 or something. The whole idea of the project was based around a quote that read, "Be a buddy, not a bully." So that's why the stories are written as they are. Admittedly, the stories aren't the best, but I felt like it'd be nice to show all of you what I made anyway. These videos did get put onto a DVD that I created the cover for also. I never uploaded these before out of respect to the people who had made the music. However, now the rules for music have changed slightly, so the likes of Sudri and Afro, or Toby's Windmill, or Fiddlesticks, however he wants to be called. So I hope you enjoy my content that never actually made it onto YouTube in 2015. Also, there's another video on the way soon, so look forward to that. And this is Tenley10 signing off, so enjoy the video, mate. Yeah, enjoy the video. Boy, mate. Bye.
Thomas is a tank engine who works on the Farquhar branch line on the island of Sodor. He works the line with Toby and Percy. Thomas was the first engine to work on the line after he saved James from a nasty accident. I'm sorry to say that sometimes this pride of running his own branch line would get to his smoke box. One morning he was waiting at the junction with his 2 faithful coaches, Annie and Clarabelle. He wasn't happy.
Late again? I warned you. How can I run my line properly if Percy's always late?
Before Thomas could say any more, however, the little green engine wheezed alongside, pulling his heavy goods train.
Sorry, Thomas. There was a problem at the level crossing. It wasn't my fault.
Rubbish. You're too small and can't handle the heavy work alone. The Fat Controller should have placed you on shunting duties today. That's where you would have been more useful.
Before Percy could say any more, Thomas had huffed away. He hurried down the line and eventually reached the top station.
Ah, Thomas. Right on time, I see.
He was just about to have a rest when the Fat Controller arrived.
I need you to take a goods train from the quarry to Knapford station. The store will be sent to a building site along the main line. Henry will be taking over for you at Knapford, and Joby will run your passenger duties until you get back. Understood?
Yes, sir.
That's your good engine. Run along now.
With that, Thomas left for the quarry. He collected his trucks full of stone and was soon on his way. Thomas was steaming along with the truck giggling away behind him, as they always did. The train was long and heavy, but Thomas didn't mind.
Pfft, easy, nothing to it. I'll show Percy how a proper engine pulls a good strain.
It was only a few minutes after this that Thomas began to feel a pain in his boiler.
Ouch, ouch, ouch! Help! I feel so weak.
Oh, for pity's sake. We forgot to fill up on water at the top station. Sorry, old boy. We're going to have to stop.
So the driver and fireman brought the train to a stop and damped down Thomas's fire, while the guard ran to the nearest signal box for help.
Botheration! The other engines are sure to laugh at me now.
The guard soon came back with Percy. He was amused. Thomas felt very embarrassed.
Ran out of puff, eh, Thomas? I am surprised. Perhaps the train was a bit too heavy for you. Ah well, living then. Come on.
Percy was coupled up to Thomas's front so he could lead the train, and they set off. It wasn't long before they arrived at Knapford. Percy pushed the trucks behind Henry's already waiting train, and with a toot of his whistle he departed. Thomas was shunted next to the water tower and his tanks were soon full again. Back at the sheds, Thomas apologised to Percy.
Thank you for helping me today, and I'm sorry for being so cheeky. I'm not the pride of the line after all.
What are friends for, eh? Just please remember that even though you have the number 1 painted on your side, you don't have to be the best all the time.
I'll bear that in mind.
From then on, Thomas was a kinder and more respectful engine towards others. He respected their abilities and carried on being a really useful engine. Gordon is a big blue tender engine who lives on the island of Sodor. His main job is pulling the Express, an important passenger train which travels across the whole island. Gordon takes great pride in his work. This can sometimes lead to trouble, however. One morning, Gordon was grumbling in the sheds.
It's not fair
What isn't fair?
that I, of all engines, should have to collect my own coaches while James is away for repairs. An engine like me shouldn't have to fetch his own coaches. That's more of a job suited to common tank engines like you. Engines who don't have to think about their appearance.
Gordon, your ego is just as big as your boiler. A job is a job. You should know not to protest about it by now.
Pah! Why do I even bother with such immature and pesky bugs like you? This is why none of the bigger engines like you two.
The two smaller engines just looked at each other and chuckled while Gordon set off for the big station. He pulled his coaches to the platform and waited to depart. The big engine was becoming impatient. On the other platform, Henry was waiting. He was supposed to leave in front of Gordon. His goods train needed to be cleared on the main line before the express. Henry's guard blew his whistle and the train began to depart. What happened next was a shock to everyone at the station. There was Gordon pulling away in front of Henry. The green engine stopped. A man on the platform next to him was waving and shouting. This was Gordon's guard! The foolish grey engine had thought it was his time to go and had left his guard stranded on the platform. Just then, Percy rolled into the station, confused as to what all the fuss was about. The guard quickly explained to his crew.
Oh, that silly great engine. We can catch him.
So with a whoosh of steam and a blast of his whistle, the little tank engine scuttled after Gordon. Percy was never usually allowed to go fast. He was having the time of his life. His wheels pounded the rails, but he was struggling to make any ground.
Bother. We'll never catch him at this rate.
No, if we go down the branch line, we could cut him off halfway. If we're lucky enough.
The driver and the guard thought it a splendid idea. As they approached the signal box, Percy let out a shrill whistle. The signalman, startled, set the point onto the branch line, allowing Percy to fly past. Meanwhile, Gordon was bucketing along the rails.
Fastest and best, fastest and best.
He was so busy concentrating that he didn't see Percy pulling up behind him.
Go it, Percy! You're gaining!
He shouted and whistled, but to no avail. Gordon kept pulling away from the saddle tank engine. The fireman carried on shoveling for dear life. Percy was growing tired, but he had to press on. The poor engine panted with every ounce of steam he had left. Gordon's driver and fireman heard Percy struggling and looked out of the cab to see what the commotion was.
Hey up, Burnsy. What on earth are those jokers doing now?
Beats me. I say we stop at the next station to see what's up.
Gordon slowed down and pulled into the platform. He wasn't meant to stop here and he was furious.
But what are you doing? There's no signal, no red flag. Why have we stopped?
Before either driver or fireman could reply, Percy puffed wearily in.
Looks like you forgot your guard, Gordon.
Absolute rubbish.
The guard clambered from Percy's cab. He was very cross.
Thanks for leaving me behind, Gordon. As a result of this little stop, you're now late. So I suggest you get a move on.
The main line engine was speechless and, needless to say, very embarrassed.
Well, I'm sorry, little Percy. I shouldn't have doubted you. Maybe you aren't a bug or a common tank engine after all,
A weak smile formed on Percy's face. He was exhausted. The now grumpy guard blew his whistle, and this time, Gordon didn't leave him behind.
Very well done to you, you brilliant engine. I think you deserve a new coat of paint, don't you?
Percy just beamed. James had been to the works to be mended. He was glad of a rest, but he had hated being cooped up in the sheds all day.
Nobody will see my shiny red paint if I'm stuck in here all day. Can we hurry this up, please?
He enjoyed bragging to the bigger engines and getting underneath their domes. It was only a couple of days later that James was at his worst. He was in the sheds with Gordon and Henry one morning and the mixed traffic engine was boasting.
You know, it's hard being a splendid engine, having people admire you all the time, watching in awe as I pass by. But you wouldn't know anything about that, Gordon, would you?
Pah! You're full of hot air.
Well, I am a steam train.
You're bound to mess up sooner or later, then you won't look so splendid.
Don't worry about it, Henry. I can work through any weather. I don't let things rain on my parade.
The green engine was furious. He was about to say something when the fat controller walked over.
Good morning, engines. Glad to see you're all in a good mood. James, I need you to go to the yard and prepare a goods train. Then I need you to take it to the docks to be sent overseas. The ships won't stay back for long, so hurry along now.
He hated pulling goods trains. The trucks never cooperated.
But, sir, can't you get one of the smaller engines to do that job? I don't want to spoil my new paintwork.
Really useful engines, don't argue.
James decided not to irritate the fat controller and snorted away. He arrived at the shunting yards and started to bump the troublesome trucks into place. James's train was soon arranged and ready to go. The tender engine backed down and was coupled up. He begun with a quick jolt on the coupling.
Oh!
Watch it, will ya?
Have some respect.
Yeah, that'll be the day.
James hurried along the rails. The sooner he got the job done, he thought, the sooner he could go back to basking in the sunshine. The silly trucks were cross too.
He bumped us.
Come on, lads, let's pay him out.
They began to laugh, but James took no notice and continued on his way. It was when he began to approach a bend in the track that they decided to put their plan into action. They giggled, shouted, and with a mighty bump, the truck surged forwards.
On!
James felt to wait on his buffers and realised what was about to happen.
Stop! Stop! Stop!
James quickly applied his brakes, but it was too late. He skidded along the line, and before he could think of what to do, he was clean off the rails. Luckily, no one was hurt. The driver and fireman had jumped clear before the crash. James had broken through a wall and into a field. His buffer beam was bent and his wheels and brakes were full of little stones. Thomas soon arrived with the breakdown train, and the Fat Controller was on board. He scolded James severely.
Well, James, I hear you've been giving grief to the other engines, and I'm very displeased. It doesn't help that I now have to send back to the works your careless behaviour. Perhaps we'll be more careful with trucks next time.
The Fat Controller turned on his heel and walked away. James had a lot to think about.